Well, that was some movie stuff. That was early days dedicated. He did it. He ran over. He ran, yeah, he did. He ran over. The Ravens were just like, this is who we are. They figured it out. They figured it out against Dallas, and now they did. And even after that, I mean, Rob was not. He was like, we should be celebrating. We should go more than this. You know, which is right. You know. We could even get it figured out. They better.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Pretty close. Did you do it? Yeah, they called it 12 minutes ago? Yeah, middle of the edge. I don't find it easier there than that. That would be kind of oh yeah, it's easier from the Chronicle too.
Just to start off, I'm sure. Paul, you closing that door? Are you good? Okay. All right. So sorry. Just to start off, I'm sure you all saw the news this morning that Dikembe passed. He's been kind of a towering figure in the NBA for the last 30 years, really, not just in the NBA and basketball. And so I think for the game, it's a really sad day, and obviously not because of what he did on the court. He had a Hall of Fame basketball career and was an amazing player, but just because what he meant to the world. And for those of us here, it's much more personal. For myself, for Gretchen, for Tony, for Tracy, for all of our kind of longtime Rockets people. He was a coworker and a friend, and so on behalf of the Rockets organization and Tillman and the whole Fertitta family, my wife Felicia, we just wanted to give our deepest condolences to Rose and their children. It's just a really tough day for me personally. I kind of feel like we grew up together. And just he's a guy who was super comfortable in his own skin, and the result was he was just really a good friend and a good human being, and he will be missed. So on that note, we're happy to take any questions you have.
Any questions? Jackson?
Ime, last year you were pretty transparent about wanting to clean up a few areas of the game for this team going into the season, things like transition defense, points off turnovers. What areas or points of emphasis do you have going into this season, if any?
I feel we hit the benchmark on most of those. I think, you saw it was night and day as far as where we were and where we got to in a lot of those areas. So at times we were focusing on specific things and not really emphasizing others. And we saw some things, some trends that we're going the other way as far as things we were doing well without really emphasizing. So continue to double down on the things that we did well and try to be even better on the defensive end and clean up those numbers. And but as well as focus on some offensive things that worked well for us second half of the season, specifically after All-Star break. So, like I said, we got from the 20s down to in the 5s, and those numbers were great. Number one in some things, but we feel there are some things that we can get back to doing very well that we did the previous year as well. So, the pace was great, the offensive rebounding late in the season, the shooting was better, and so like to focus on some of those things as well as not skip any steps on the things we did well coming in.
Hi, Ime. Good to see you again. Recent years, the conversation about this team has been about growth. Do you think it's valuable to have specific win totals, a playoff mandate, anything like that heading into this year?
Yeah, I think last year even, we were talking about changing perception and being competitive and effort and all those things, and I think that foundation was kind of laid last year, and so we want to have carryover from that, obviously. But we did talk about win totals last year with everybody last year, and I think a few guys hit the mark. We fell short of a few guys as well. So we won't really specifically talk about wins this year, but playoffs is a goal, and that was a goal last year. We fell short of that. So we talked about some people thought it was a successful season. We fell short of the goals we had, but there was a lot of improvement across the board, and we want to have take another step, obviously, with that. So we won't put a number on it, but we'll talk about getting to the playoffs, and that's the goal.
Do you feel like your team was dissatisfied with missing out on the playoffs last year? Do you think that big driver in the summer, so to speak?
Yeah, for sure. I think that we were up and down, quite honestly. Consistently winning and losing streaks are good when you're winning them, but some of those losing streaks we want to get rid of, obviously, and be more consistent across the board. And we know if we would have done that, we would have been in better shape to end the season. And so, even though 41 looks like a good total coming from where our guys were, that means you're pretty much losing one, winning one, all season. And that's not a great feeling.
Coach, right here. Coach, what are expectations for Reed Sheppard this year?
Just to see him get accustomed to the NBA game, continue on the trajectory that he's on as a player, which is always taking really good leaps from high school to college and college to summer league, and just being in the gym with our guys. So for him, it's really learning the NBA game, similar to the rookies coming in last year. He'll be mentored by a lot of good veterans, and Fred, a guy that he can kind of emulate some of the things he does there. So. The goal for him is to be comfortable and impact the game with his shooting, his IQ, and his toughness, and the things he brings to the table. So, we're not talking about roles or defining anything right now. He'll kind of work his way through that, but we do have a lot of a high upside for him.
Phil, you made almost no changes, roster changes since last season. How much will this season's results impact or influence your decision-making, not just next summer, but for years to come, based on what you see this year?
Depends on what we see this year. I think that, we didn't make changes because we really like the group. And hopefully this group of players takes another step forward, and at least the core of what we have can stay together for a long time and be very successful. That is definitely plan A, but my job is to look at everything, and I always will, and kind of each step of the way, whether it's now or at the trade deadline or next summer, you kind of have to freshly reevaluate. Things don't always turn out the way you want them to, and it's kind of a continuous process.
Ime, do you have an update on some of the players who were injured late, like Tari, how he's doing, how Adams is coming along, and Alpie?
Yeah, I mean, Alperen, he's back. He's fine. He was, you know, if we would have made the playoffs, he would have been able to play. So he's had a great summer and the work he's put in. Steven, you know, has been going through his own process, and we've had him in the gym with us recently. So he's looking good. Tari, same thing. Ramp up is there. I think with those guys, we'll be conscious of that they're coming off of injuries, and some hadn't played in a while. But what we've seen with their progress has been great. They've been in the gym with our guys, like I said, and for us, it'll be how we manage that, and be cognizant of the fact that they've been off for quite an amount of time, and look at the big picture. And so we're happy with where they're at, and we'll monitor that as we go through camp and through the early part of the season.
Ime, this is the first time in your career as a head coach that you're going into training camp as a year two guy. What are some of the things as a coach, as a coaching staff, that you guys can sort of implement with your playbook in year two that you can't in year one?
Oh, it's honestly not the first, I guess you would say. A lot of teaching last year, especially coming into camp. We can kind of hit the ground running with some of those things. Won't skip any steps as far as reiterating the points and what made us good last year, but there are things that we can add. Like I said, we saw things throughout the season that really worked for us, and we can zero in on those. And so for us, it's find out what works best for the group. And we have a lot of guys with different individual skill sets, but the group overall, what's going to make us the most successful, and we've kind of zeroed in on some of those things. And for me, it's like I said, the terminology, the teaching points, the newness of me and my staff last year. That takes some time for certain guys, but now we can kind of hit the ground running as far as that. And to Rafael's point, we have the same roster pretty much coming back with the additions of Steven and Reed. And for us, that continuity is good. So we feel we don't have to teach as much, although we will continue to do that with our group. But we can kind of hit the ground running, and been there, done that, and some things we can show them with video that they've done really well.
For Mr. Stone, now that you have the open roster spot, is there any plans to bring in another player before the start of the season, or are you pretty much going to stick with the existing roster?
We're open to it. I think I think it's less likely. I don't think we have playing time for all the guys I'd like to play as is, and so really we're looking at that as added flexibility, whether it's now or at the trade deadline or something else. But no, it definitely is possible depending on what shakes out around the league. It does. I like that flexibility, but I guess we'll just see. I didn't answer your question at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's hard to know sitting here right now. But I would say there are no immediate plans to fill it.
Coach, prior to being drafted, Thompson was usually a lead guard, primary facilitator for his team. And then last season, we saw him kind of deployed, especially in the latter half of the season, kind of offensively as the center, right, setting a lot of screens, playing out of the dunker spot. What do you envision as his kind of role moving forward long term with this team?
Yeah, for him, I think he's a guy that pretty much checks every box. If anything happens injury-wise, you can plug him into any position. And I think he really learned to play off the ball some last year, which will only benefit him and our team going forward. But he's a guy that's great with the ball in his hands, great with the pace and the things that he does naturally. But like I said, teaching him that, it was due to necessity. Obviously, Alpie goes out, and you can plug him into the 4 or 5 spot with Jabari out there. And him being injured early, Aaron and Fred and some of those guys and Jalen were handling a lot more by the time he came back. And so for us, the flexibility and his versatility is great. I envision him being able to do everything, play on and off the ball, impact the game, obviously defensively and offensively in different ways. But the pace that he plays with and getting out in the open court is great when he has the ball off a rebound. But he also played in the dunker, and he's a great offensive rebounder. He's a great finisher around the rim, and he found the pocket and saw how good he did there once he learned to screen and roll a little bit. So that versatility is going to open up a lot of things for us. And if anything happens to happen as far as injuries, you can plug them in 1 through 5.
Rafael, 2 quick questions. The first, are you optimistic about getting extensions done with Alpie and Jalen before the deadline?
That relates to their contracts, and I don't talk about our players' contracts. I don't think it's fair to them. So I'm not going to answer.
Ime talked about goals of making the playoffs. For you, is there a goal of just wanting to see how this fits for another 82 games, just to get more information, just to see how things look moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's like the answer to that one is like 100% yes. I you know, we kept the roster together because we like it and we're excited about it. And in that respect, this is probably the most exciting media day or start to camp I've ever had, because I really am interested in how this group manages to mesh together. I think we have a really talented and really good coaching staff who are going to put these guys in positions to be successful. It feels to me like everybody's had a really good summer. Like our young guys are going to come back as better players than they were at the end of the year. And yeah, we want to see how this whole thing fits together. So I am, yeah, 100% that's something I'm looking forward to, definitely.
Coach, with last year winning 41 games, Jalen's first team that was winning more often than not, now going into an off-season like that, do you think he's attacked this off-season maybe a little bit differently, a different stage of his career, understands what it's like to win? What have you seen from him this off-season getting ready for the year?
Yeah, I would say him and all the young guys they got a taste of being competitive on a nightly basis, of having a chance to play for meaningful games late in the season. And so I think that's given everybody a little extra motivation in the offseason. Guys come back looking different, and you see the work that they put in, but Jalen, understanding what it took for him to be successful and be a well-rounded player, you can take those things into the offseason and not just work on specifics, but knowing what we're asking of him. He'll obviously have a different view on the things he has to work on, and so he's put in the work this summer. We've all been around each other and in and out of Houston, seen him in California quite a bit, and so he's a guy that's had a really good summer, as well as a lot of our young guys. And so I think that understanding and that motivation to take a bigger step, we always say the onus is on our young guys to take that step. The vets kind of are who they are, and we'll add those guys and their skill sets, and Steven brings some things that we didn't have, but Jabari, Jalen, Amen, Tari, those guys being healthy and taking another step is going to be the biggest part of our growth.
We'll take two more.
Raphael, this is Raphael. How much of a conscious decision was it to kind of basically keep things intact, as they were?
Yeah, it was we looked at every opportunity, but no, it was very conscious. Felt like we saw good growth. We draft for the with respect to our young players, we drafted them all. We liked them a lot when we drafted them, and I think with all of them we like them better now. And so yeah, we want to see where this group can go, and so yeah, it was a very conscious decision.
Coach, a number of us had a chance to see the new training facility. I'm wondering what your impressions of it now that it's put together and you've had a little bit of a chance to work out there.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Obviously, something that I've been accustomed to. Some of the younger guys here only know the arena, and I think the space and the extra court and the added amenities are welcomed. Our young guys got a chance to get some practice in before summer league, and then the vets got back in, and it's all been glowing reviews, obviously. And so, it gets a little monotonous coming to the same place every day, and I think that's kind of a home away from home where guys can kind of relax and take advantage of all the things that we didn't have, and don't have to go to Louisiana for training camp and certain things like that because we have the space now. And although we love the Golden Nugget and McNeese State, but no, it's great. I think a lot of guys are accustomed to that, and I've been to some places with newer facilities, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Boston, and stacks right up there, if not better.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's up, guys? Long time no see.
Good to see you again. Were you happy to see Jalen Good to see you again. Were you happy to see Jalen kind of organize these summer workouts, and what do you want to see from him specifically in this upcoming season?
Yeah, well, I think that was a good start. Foremost, you know, the summertime is such an important time for development and team building and chemistry. So for him to take that initiative, have the guys out there, you know, for whatever, working out, playing, whatever the case was, I think that was a great step and a good start. And you just got to keep getting better. I think that he made tremendous strides last year. I know it was up and down in terms of performance, but just being with him every day, watching his work ethic, watching him bounce back to certain things and different adversities, I believe that, you know, he set himself up for success, and especially in this year. So we just need him to come in and be consistent on a day-to-day basis, because, you know, when you see the level that he can get to, you just got to, you know, consistently hit that mark.
Hey, Fred, are there noticeable differences between any of the guys that you've seen since, like, last spring?
Yeah, for sure. I think this is maybe my first summer I've spent, like, in market in my NBA career. So obviously being in Toronto, I always left right after this season for a lot of different reasons. But we spent most of the summer here, so I was around the guys. Everybody's in the gym, everybody's working. It was really cool to see that firsthand. Reminded me a lot of my first couple of years in the league, where I was just in the gym every day because I didn't have nothing else to do at the time. So that was good, but probably a man for sure, I think. And I don't know if it's just because it's summertime and there's no referees and he can just run everybody over, or he actually looks bigger, stronger, faster, more confident, more under control. But he definitely doesn't look like a rookie anymore, and we started to see that towards the end of the season last year. He looks poised to have another big year this year.
What would you consider to be a successful season for this team?
I know I could count on you for that one, John. But again, I mean, it's got to be playoffs for us. Our eyes have to be set on that, set on advancing. Not just making the playoffs, but advancing, you know, for a lot of different reasons, but getting that experience, making it count, not having your summer feel so long. And we know on a handful of nights last year, if we would have played a little differently here and there, a couple possessions, we lost a lot of games by less than 5, less than 10 points. And we could have snuck in there last year. So I think knowing that, having that experience and knowing what it takes this year going forward, I think we all have our eyes set pretty high as a group on the things that we want to accomplish, but it's one day at a time.
Fred, kind of same type of deal. You and Steven and Dillon know what it takes to get to the next level, to go from 41 wins to where you want to be. Do you feel like your younger core gets that going into this year?
Yeah, they better. They better. I mean, we went through it last year. So, I mean, outside of maybe Reed, you know, who hasn't played in the NBA yet, everybody else was here. There's no more really excuses on youth or inexperience. I mean, we saw it. Now you still have to go through it and you still have to do it. Obviously, you still have to perform. But I think as a group, we all can confidently say, like, you know, we kind of know what it takes a little bit more. And you continue to just, you know, work on that every single day and keep that in mind when you're playing, when you're practicing, when things get tough. And you know, I think we're gonna have a good year.
Fred, what are your thoughts on the new training center?
Oh, it's amazing. The new facility has been amazing. It's a game changer for us. I got so used to just coming in here every day working. You know, you just kind of adapt really fast, but now being over there, you can just tell the difference in quality of life and just coming to work every day. And it just feels like, you know, guys are in the gym longer, you're coming earlier, like there's more bodies in there, there's more space. The facility is amazing, has everything that we need, and I think it's going to pay dividends, you know, right away and, you know, in the near future. So it was a huge upgrade for us, and I think that you'll see the dividends paid out, you know, immediately.
Fred, a lot of people during the pre-draft process actually compared Reed to you. I'm curious if you sort of see that as a template that maybe he can use, and does that make it any easier to maybe be a mentor to him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always funny that I get used as a draft comp now as an undrafted guy, but yeah, I see a lot of similarities in just terms of pace and poise and his reads, and you saw it really come out in summer league for a young kid who hadn't really played, at this level, for him to dominate the way that he did. So yeah, he's already reached out. We've been connecting. It'll be easier now that we're here every day, and he'll be right under my wing, and I'll be able to show him. And he has a huge, head start on me. I wasn't that good at 19. It took me a little longer to get there. So to have him here in this spot with the shooting, probably a little bit more athletic than I am. I don't know if he's taller yet. We gotta see. We gotta stand next to each other. But yeah, I'm excited to have him next to me and have another guy with similarities and mindset more than anything, and we'll lean on each other, and I'll use him to get better, and he'll use me to get better, and it's my job to speed up his development process.
Fred, last year the Rockets set a franchise record for at least amount of turnovers per game. What do you think was the biggest factor in that, considering that you had several new players, including yourself?
Yeah, I think coach, first and foremost, is stressing the value, the possession. I've always been a high assist to turnover ratio guy, so that helps. And then I think for the first quarter, maybe the first half of the season, we played slower, so that the possessions were down, playing a lot of sets and half court, things like that, playing through Alperen in the post. So I think always value on the ball is super key, is super important, but I think that we'll probably play a little bit faster and move the ball a little bit more. So that number may rise a little bit, but hopefully we can keep it down. And I think it just turns into a possession game, especially late in close games and things like that. Each possession is so key.
Hey, Fred, you got a chance to be here all last year, got to know the guys. You guys built something, started building something. Roster hadn't changed a whole lot. How would you describe or define really the identity of this team?
I think last year we discovered that we had a little bit of fight to us, and literally and figuratively speaking. So I think that's a good building block. That's a good foundation that we're going to come out every night. We're going to fight. We're going to give it everything that we have. With the talent, with the youth, with the speed and the athleticism that we have. We're going to play a little fast. We're going to fly around. We're going to switch on defense. We're just going to be a tough night out no matter who that we're playing against. And the offense will develop. It'll come in time. It'll continue to get better. But again, I think that we have turned into, one of the youngest, hungriest, hardest teams to play against on any given night. And we can beat anybody on any given night. It's about us. Our challenge is going to be consistency and turning good into great.
We'll take two more.
Fred, hey, how beneficial has it been to be able to basically come back intact? And what have you noticed has been maybe the major difference between like last off season and this off season for you guys?
Yeah, I think this is one of the lowest roster turnovers that I've had in my career. So pretty much bringing everybody back and adding Steven and adding Reed, which is great. And I think that just it maybe shortens some learning curves. I just remember looking back to training camp last year, how much how slow we had to go in terms of teaching and putting things in. I think that our starting point is a little bit farther along this year, so we can speed that up and get to certain things quicker. We weren't getting to very detailed, complicated stuff until very late in the season last year. So I think that we can pick up a little bit where we left off, get some refreshers. I'm sure Coach has got his plans for us. But me personally, coming in this year has been a full 180, because I was coming into a new situation, a new city, a new home, moving my family, learning everybody's faces, teammates. So this year I feel like just focus on my training and coming in ready to play. I think it's going to be a huge difference for me.
Right over here. Doing a quick Google search, it appears at least once you've done a Dikembe. I was curious what you thought of his impact on the game, and you've been around a long time. I was wondering if you ever met him or if you had any interaction with him.
Yeah, first and foremost, just rest in peace. Want to send my condolences to his family and everybody affected by it. But what a loss to the basketball world and to the world. I know he was a huge humanitarian. I did have the chance to meet him and talk with him a few times on occasion. He was really close with 𝗪𝗧 Ujiri, so we always saw him Giants of Africa and things like that. But one of the icons, really, of our sport, and one of the all-time great players, but also all-time great person. And I think that, again, it's just a loss and it's sad, but I think his impact and the legacy that he leaves behind will speak volumes. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, oh, she's just around now. Is this my secret water? Or?
It is.
Okay.
If you like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Greetings.
You want the first question?
Salutations.
Jeff?
So after the trade last year, did you have much of a chance to interact with the team or watch them? And if you did, what did you sort of glean from that in that limited amount of time?
Sorry, mate. What was it?
Wait, last year after the trade,
Yeah.
how much time did you get to actually interact with the team and sort of watch them and see what they were doing, knowing what's coming this year?
Yeah, I popped in a couple of times after the trade, but I was doing my rehab process, just away from the team, so I was still watching all the games and all that. Yeah, again, it's just like young team, new system, there's a lot of new pieces, so I don't know, it's all good. There's a lot of potential, and I think you guys can see that. Obviously, there's a lot of potential for individual players, but also as an organization, really good chance.
In terms of coming back after missing a full season, where do you feel you are now in terms of coming back and readiness to play?
Yeah, readiness to play. I mean, it's unrestricted, which is good. I just have to be smart with like gameplay and stuff, because it's a 2-year process for any, like even an ACL injury and stuff like this. It's a 2-year process, but it doesn't mean you can't play. It just means you have to, just be careful going into it,
Stephen, how hard has it been to miss as much time as you've missed the last
Sorry,
couple
mate.
years?
Yeah.
How hard has it been to miss as much time as you've missed the last couple of years?
How hard? Like what? Like emotionally? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. Feels bad, dude. Yeah, it feels bad. But it's okay. It's just one of those joints, bro. It happens, and yeah, you kind of just got to rewire your brain a little bit. Because typically, like, you play, there's like a performance indicator, like you win or lose. You get that sort of system, but you kind of have to redo it and focus on the small wins, especially with the rehab process. Like, you have to, small wins, bro. You have to really, like, reel it back in. Yeah.
Danielle?
Stephen, what are some things that you noticed about the Rockets last season, that the way that they play, that stuck out to you, and where do you think you're going to be able to make the most impact?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say where I'll make the most impact. But again, like, they're a very talented team, and like they've shown, like, especially I think towards the end of the season, the pace that they were playing at was very high, and I thought it was very. I think that seemed like a very good, good pace to play, as opposed to like a slower play style, So that looked good, I think. But yeah, my impact is, I don't know. I just don't have enough information right now. Played a little bit like pickup games, but it's very different from an actual structured environment and try and pick in the spots. I'll still have to like figure all that stuff out coming up. So you could ask the question to me in like maybe a month. I have a way better answer for you.
Hey, Stephen. You played with some really elite guards previously in your career, Russell Westbrook, John Morant. Do you see any similarities in how they play the game to a guy like Jalen Green, and how do you think your skill set on the court can kind of help him the same way you help those guys?
Yeah, you'll make comparisons between previous guards, like good guards, like superstar guards type thing, and him. Yeah, I mean,
each of them, because even Ja and Russ is very different how they play, very, very different. To the eye, maybe like the general public, it's probably not, because a lot of it's highlighted through like the athleticism, like, oh, like they jump high, and then that's pretty much it, you know. How they approach the game, their body language, how they come off like screen, say like this, very, very different, you know, different pace, different setups and all that. So each player is very different. I have to figure that out with Jalen, you know, and see what that is. For any other guards, you know, it's not just like Russ and Nick. Any guards that I work with, I have to figure out what's the best way that I could put them, like how can I help them the best, right? Because that's what the play requires, you know. So we'll figure all that stuff out, but yeah, just hit some dudes, I guess, bro, on the screens.
Steven, you played against a lot of great bigs over your decade or so in the league. What stands out to you about Alperen Sengun, and how good can he potentially be?
No, very good. He's got a very good feel for the game. Yeah, I mean, he could score many different ways, which is good. And what's good about him is that like his body language is very unorthodox. So it's hard to, you know, you can get patterns when you play enough. You notice patterns between player and player. What's accessible to them in different shapes. Yeah, it's hard to read him because it's like he could be in a very awkward position, but it's actually a really good position for him. But for your processing as a defender, you'll think it's not, you know, if that makes sense. So yeah, he's got a lot of good tools, mate, and yeah, he's definitely hungry, which is good. Yeah.
You talked about your role earlier, and I guess I'll piggyback off of asking about Alperen Sengun. What have you got with the coaching staff, and what is it that they want you to be able to teach him every day in practice that he can apply in the game?
Yeah, we haven't talked about any of that stuff yet, bro. You know, it's still very new. I'm finishing my rehab joint now. You know what I mean? Like just coming from where I was doing rehab. So yeah, all those stuff will get ironed out over this next week. For everyone, kind of like what they see and Sengun. I have a somewhat of an idea, but that's without knowing what the system is in place, like really understanding it. You know what I mean? All I got is like kind of I know and that, you know. So I need more information, which I'll get.
Year in and year out, you're one of the top players in the league when it comes screen to assist. How much pride do you take in that, and how do you think that will help the Rockets this year, you know, helping players get open?
Yeah, what was it, bro?
Screen assist.
A screen assist? Yes. Yeah. You guys looking at that now? Dope, dude. Nice, dude. Yeah, nice. And what, like, how's it going to help the boys and what I do? Yeah, I mean, look, it's just another part of the game, and I guess it's being highlighted now. But yeah, again, any play, these things happen all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's just screens and all that. I just go for try to get the best execution for what's on the play at the time, and that's all I try and focus on. And yeah, that's what the play requires. You know, I don't know if that answers your question. It's pretty lame, but make it sound good, dude. Like misquote it. Make me sound good, dude.
Can you tell us how long have you been in Houston? What do you think about the city, and how do you feel about being a part of the Rockets organization?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited to be a part of the organization. Again, like yeah, the potential for like you know going all the way, winning a championship, all the ingredients, and not even just the ingredients, the push behind it, the support behind it, is like you know, all this stuff is really exciting to be a part of. You know, the city itself, I haven't done too much exploring. The other week I went to Memorial Park. That's dope. So that's gonna be my new stomping grounds. It's a nice place. But yeah, I still gotta figure the city out itself. And I guess this is the first introduction to the fans and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, should be good.
What's it like being teammates with Dillon again? Is some of the old chemistry still there between you two?
Bro, it's not good. It's not good, dude. Not good. I was like, damn, why is this guy here? He's a good lad, man. He's a good lad. Obviously, like really good dude off court, unbelievable teammate, and just like a dog on the court. You know, all the personas. But yeah, super good dude. It's just good to see a familiar face, especially with me and him. We had really good chemistry playing in Memphis together, especially with problem solving in game, which was important. So you don't have to burn timeouts and stuff like this. We were able to problem solve a lot of the stuff or troubleshoot, I should say. Yeah, during real time, which is amazing, dude. So our relationship is good, not just off the court, but professionally as well. You know, you need both. Well, you actually need the professional one. Off court one is just, that's another thumbs up, you know. Yeah, all good. Did you want this water or no? No, just leave it. I don't know. It wasn't.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things. Yeah, somebody put that out on Twitter. What did he say? Oh, it's excellent. Some people do like it. That threw me off.
One thing you know, that's why I'm not paying attention. I'm busy reading messages from Rashid. So in other words, I can catch up pretty fast.
Hello, hello. Oh, we don't have that many people this year. They gone? They gone? Yes, you see it? Hakeem the Dream.
Permanent?
Huh?
Permanent? It's gonna stay?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Who wants the first question? Jonathan?
Jonathan, there you go.
So last year you came back, you had added a Dirk jump shot. What have you added this year?
I keep working what I was doing it. You know, I was shooting door shot, and I'm better on it now, I feel like. And I do another one leg shot like Jokic does now. I'm comfortable with that. And I think, yeah, that's, you're gonna see. Jonathan.
Alpie, I want to ask you a question about off the court. On yesterday, you had an opportunity to be on field at the Houston Texans game and
Yes.
shoot the cannon and stuff. Was that your first NFL game you went to, and how was it just being around those Texans?
This is
fans?
the second time I went to, but in the first time, I didn't know the rules, all those things. But this time it was more sense for me to watch it. So because I know a little bit, because I've been around it, and my teammates, playing the games, so I know a little more about it, and it was fun yesterday. And first time we just went for fun, but this time I just went for the watch, so it was really fun to watch.
Hi, Alperen. Good to see you again. This is now another year with you and Jalen together. What excites you about this year's version of Jalen Green?
We learned a lot of things last year, and first 2 years I was, every time we say we're learning. But this last year it was important for us because we play with the more older players, so we got the chance to learn a lot of things, and we had a great years. We had great year last year, so, and learn a lot of things. This year we're gonna, we've been working all summer, and it's gonna be fun to play again together.
And is that Jokic shot the over the head song?
Yeah.
Was that what you're referencing?
Yeah, I feel comfortable shooting that right now.
Christy?
Alperen, you guys made a lot of growth last year.
what is your expectations for the team this year after how much y'all improved last year?
You know, we missed the playoffs in the literally last second. So I believe we're gonna make the playoffs this year. There's no another chance we're not making the playoffs. We have great team. We have a lot of talented players, and you know, last year was kind of first year like we played together with the Fred, Dillon, and it was like, you know, it was different, and we learned a lot of things this year. So, like I said, there's not another excuse for us to not make playoffs this year. So we're gonna go over there and then fight like we did last year.
Hey, Alpi, have you had any talks with the Rockets about an extension, and are you optimistic that's something that can get done before the deadline?
Yeah, we've been talking. You know, we've been talking. I want to get the contract, and they trying to negotiate with us. We trying to negotiate with them. So it's been good. We're gonna make it work. So we still have a time, and hopefully it's making work.
Alperen, you talked about a couple shots that you've worked on the last couple of years. Can you just talk about your growth as a player? Where do you think you are now going into this season, this part of your journey? How much stronger, how much you've grown?
Yeah, end of the last year I got hurt, so off-season start early for me. I've been working since then. So with my trainer, with my physiotherapist, I've been working in Turkey. I was in Turkey for 2 months almost. So I work really hard, basketball, lifting, physical, everything. So I feel much more better than other summers, I can say, because I've been working, I said earlier. So since my off-season started earlier, so, and I feel good right now, and I'm excited to start the season.
Alpi, you've obviously played against a lot of different types of bigs over your career. What does Steven bring to this team that you didn't have a year ago?
I can say like Dillon brings some toughness, but the Steven is really strongest guy in the NBA. So I think he's gonna help us a lot. He's gonna help me a lot. I had a lot of things to learn from him, and fighting with him in the practice, all those things, and the stuff I need to get better, and I believe he's gonna help me. He already talking to us. He's going to dinner, all those things, and he's just since day one. He's trying to teach us everything. So it's gonna be great for us to he's been here.
When you were off last year, obviously with the injury, were you able to sort of get from being on the sidelines, being able to watch as opposed to being in the game and playing? Did you gain any insight as to things that you might want to do once you got back?
I mean, what I do is just helping the team, and what is best for the team. I just want to try to do that. If I need to score, I score. If I need to make assists, I make assists or pass, whatever. But yeah, last year, we finished the season, end of the season, really good. We played really good, and I got hurt, and everybody show up. They play really good, and we want to bring that to this year. Our man came, they had a rookie year, so they're more mature now and playing better in the right way. So it's gonna be a really good year for us.
Last one,
We saw over this offseason, the Rockets sent several coaches out to work out with you in Turkey. How much does that mean to you that they're willing to continue to help you develop your game even during the offseason?
That was really a big time for me because, the people I know, and the people I know from here, they came to Turkey. We literally spent time 1.5 months over there, and it happened great. Coach Cam is really serious guy, so, and we find the discipline. We work out morning, night, every day. So it's happened great for me, thanks for the Houston doing that, because and then I came back here and then I kept working with them still. So I didn't change any coaches whole summer. I was the same coach. So that's been helping to me a lot because, you know, we've been working on something, and then, you know, I didn't change any coach. I was normally going to LA again for the workout I did last year. So, but I didn't do that. I stayed in Houston also, after I came to Turkey. So we were working on what we were working on. So, and then came here and make it better.
Thank you, Alperen.
Of course.
Of course. We're not promoting them. Put it down here. Ugh.
Hey, Dillon. Good to see you again.
Right here.
Last summer, you, Fred, Jeff, you guys were brought in to kind of be the veterans for this team and help kind of usher in this new era, you know, alongside the young guys. Going into year 2 now, a lot of continuity on the roster. How do you balance still being one of the leaders for this team, but also giving the young guys space to grow and find their own voice as leaders?
I would say one thing is just lead by example with my routine, with, you know, my daily things that I do. And, you know, ultimately never put them down in a way of like, oh, I do this way and you should do this way. And then I guess with that, you know, practice facility, always bringing them in and, you know, getting shots up all the time. You know, that's what I think.
Dillon, after last season, going to this season, what are some things that you view as kind of make or break as far as success on the court for this team?
I guess it's playoffs. You know, I just want, you know, these young guys to feel what the playoffs feels like. It is one of a kind to be in a 7-game series with a team. And if, you know, we find a way to, you know, get in the play-in, you know, that's almost the same thing as, you know, feeling the atmosphere of, you know, we got to win this game in order to, you know, make it. But, you know, just growing as a team, you know, getting better and, you know, seeing guys, you know, make or get their goals.
Dillon, what was your Olympic experience like, and how much can you use that coming into the season? Excuse me.
It was a great experience overall. It's not what, you know, we wanted, you know, Team Canada. You know, we wanted a medal, but it just gives us motivation, you know, to get back to that point, you know, in LA, you know, 3 years from now. And then what I can bring back from there is just the attention to detail every game. You know, you're only playing about 3-4 games, so you got to be totally locked in to, you know, your opponent. And I know it's different with the NBA. You play 82 games. You might play a back-to-back. In the Olympics, we had like 2 days off in the middle. But just that attention to detail, really, you know, homing in on each game.
Hey, Dillon, are there, just from having worked with the young guys now for the summer, are there differences that you notice now as opposed to when you first got here last year?
Yeah, they kind of like me more a little bit. But, you know, every one of those young guys, Jalen, Jabari, Tari, Cam, they all have different personalities. But the one thing they have in common is that they work hard. They're workers. They're motivated to be better and better at basketball. You know, just connecting with them, connecting with, you know, the new guy, Reed. I won't call him Rook. I'll just call him Shep. I can't forget about, you know, Eamon as well. But, you know, just working with those guys, motivating them to be better and better at their craft and finding ways to, you know, mesh all of it together so we can be, you know, the best Houston Rockets team that we can be.
Hey, Dillon, can you talk about playing what Adams brings to this team and what it means to you to be able to connect with him again?
He is a boulder. Can't move him. He's gonna get a lot of guys open on screens, especially that's one thing we had kind of struggled with is setting ball screens and getting open and getting advantages in that. So he's gonna be tremendous in that on the offensive end as well. He loves the pass ball. He's one of the most unselfish players in our game. And then on the defensive end, he rebounds the ball like no other on both ends. And, he's a presence on the floor. And a lot of guys, fear him when he's on the floor. So, and then, seeing a friendly face, one of my favorite teammates, of my time. And, he finds ways, as a leader to get guys better.
With you being a defensive anchor, can you talk a little bit about what do you think was the difference last season compared to previous season when the Rocks were bottom of the league in several defensive categories, and last year they moved in the top 10 in a lot of the major defensive categories?
I think it's just effort and being on top of it every game. It starts with 𝗖𝗎, being a defensive coach, and then he has defensive players that want to play defense, that understand that you just can't outscore the opponent every night. So you got to find a way to get stops, schemes, stuff like that. It's just always pushing them to build it out. They have all the athleticism to do it, all the characteristics to be defensive players. So it's just always trying to bring it out of them every single game, challenge them every single game. And that's why we were top 10. And now with being together, understanding our model and our models of what we want to give up for shots, or what we want to accomplish on defensive end. I want to be in the top 5.
At the end of last season, you mentioned that you felt like you didn't want to stir the pot too much coming off the way things went at the end of your Memphis tenure. And you said that, I'm quoting you, "I feel like the NBA restrained me from playing that type of game, but I've just got to have an I don't care mentality and deal with whatever comes from it." Do you still feel that way, and what does that potentially look like?
Yeah, I do feel that way, and you're going to see a lot of difference in this year. I'm not going to let, a rep or whatever it is, persona or whatever the case may be is on me. I'm going to play my game, play how I want to play, and if it, goes either way, it's just, what I got to live with. I feel like during last year I'd have ups and downs of, finding, trying to find a median in it, but that's not me. And, you're going to see a lot of, I wouldn't say villainous things, but you're going to see a lot of, me being me. Thank you.
What up, y'all? What up, man? What up, man? Falcons won yesterday.
Glad to have you back, Jabari.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
What was being a part of that Team USA select to get ready, get the Olympic players ready to go to the Olympics? What was that experience like for you?
It was a great experience. Just to even see how those dudes prepare, how those dudes, how serious those dudes was taking practice. You know what I'm saying, and just compete against them. That's one of the greatest teams ever assembled, in my opinion. And just to see how they all can take step backs, how they all can put their pride aside and just play together to win. It was great to see. So just to see their preparation and how they approach the game, it was good to see. You know what I'm saying? It was a good learning experience. I enjoyed it.
After the strides that the team made last season, what do you expect from this team this year?
The same thing. I expect strides. I expect more strides every year. You know what I'm saying? This year we we're looking to do big things. We're looking to be even better than last year. You know what I'm saying? We know how close we were to making it to the postseason and how many games we let slip out of our hands. So we're just really ready to put it all together and have a really good year.
Jabari, how did playing, in meaningful games into April, how did that kind of fuel just your offseason and everybody else's offseason?
It sent you into the offseason with that little, still wanting to play feel. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't ready for the season to be over. You wasn't ready to wrap it up. You know what I mean? You still had that hunger. You still wanted to play. You wanted to go to the postseason. So going into the offseason, it was kind of like a bad feeling, a bad taste in your mouth that you don't really like. You know what I'm saying? So we're carrying that into this year. We're carrying that into training camp, and we're ready to go, man. We're excited.
Jabari, where did you spend most of your off season, and when you were in the gym or training, what were some specific things you were focusing on?
Honestly, I spent most of my off season here. I spent some time in Atlanta, of course. I was in LA for a little bit, but mostly here, and that's just was in the weight room a lot. You know what I'm saying? Spending a lot of time getting stronger, learning how to stay lower, learning how to play lower, ball handling. You know what I'm saying? Just all facets of my game, just trying to fine tune everything and put it all together.
Hi, Jabari. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Amen joked last week with us that, there weren't any really hard matchups for him at the USA Select. What impressed you about his performance there and just Amen's growth this summer?
Just Amen's he plays the same no matter who he's playing against. He plays the same no matter if it's practice, if it's whatever it is. his competitiveness is something that I admire about him. His fearlessness is something that I admire about him. And he's just a competitor. You know what I'm saying? That's why we get along so well. That's why the teammates love him. You know what I'm saying? He don't complain. He just go out there and compete, play hard, and do what he do. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knows how talented he is, but talent can only take you so far. He got the mindset. He got everything else. Like, he's going to be good. And that's why you can see him thrive against opponents like that, because he's on their level. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you see that.
Hey, Jabari, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
How beneficial do you think the continuity that you guys have will be in terms of growth this season for you guys?
I think it's real important. Some of these guys, Alperen, Jalen, I've been with for 2 years now, going on to my third. So it's like we know each other. We know what to expect out of each other. We know how to talk to each other. And just spending a whole year with Fred, Jeff, Dillon, new teammates, it's just like we have that understanding that we can talk to each other. We have the understanding that what is expected out of each other on a nightly basis. We've seen each other's best. We've seen each other when we're not okay. We've seen each other when we're not playing up to our potential. So we know what to expect out of each other, and when we don't see that, we can hold each other accountable. So I feel like that's just so important, and I feel like we got that. Off the court, on the court, we love each other. So it's cool.
Hey, Jabari, can you talk a little bit more about your summer? You talked about getting stronger. You said that last year. Where has your growth been as a player, and how much different do you feel now going into this year?
My growth has been something that I'm really happy about. You know what I'm saying? From my rookie year to sophomore year, just the comfortness I have. You know what I'm saying? The confidence. You know what I mean? Like going into each season, I feel more good, as like more confident, more like I belong, more sure about myself. You know what I'm saying? So just this offseason, I was real confident on what I knew what I need to work on. I was ready for the next season. It's like I just was ready to start fresh and start from the ground up, and just know that we're a team that's competing in this league, and it's time to win some games, and I'm gonna be a big part of that. So it's just like I'm just excited, man. Like I've been working my butt off all summer, working my butt off all my life to put myself in positions where I can compete in the best league in the world. So I'm ready for it.
Hey, Jabari, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
What are your early impressions from just kind of watching Reed Sheppard through summer league and then getting some time in the gym practicing alongside him? What are your early impressions about Reed?
My early impressions is just his IQ for the game. You know what I'm saying? He's really smart, like really smart. And you kind of don't see that coming from college. I know I didn't have it. My IQ was okay, but it wasn't near to the level his is. And also his toughness. I didn't know he was so grit. He had that much grit and just that kind of dog mentality to him. And he's just a good person overall. Like it's hard not to like him. You know what I'm saying? Always smiling, always in a good mood. Just just how skilled he is. You can put him off the ball, on the ball, and his willingness to learn, his willingness to listen, and also his willingness to give his opinion on stuff you may be doing. So it's just like he fit in perfectly. You know what I'm saying? He's that type of guy that can fit in any team just off of his personality and his feel for the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's been good. I've been really impressed by him, honestly.
Jabari, when you were a finals correspondent this summer, and you did a great job, by the way, but you asked Jae'Sean Tate about what advice he'd give to a player entering his third season who's fallen short of expectations. I guess, what did you mean by that? You know, what areas have you fallen short of your expectations, and do you think this is the year, if you have fallen short, that you can then achieve them?
Yeah, I just meant by like personal expectations. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sets expectations for themselves, and you might meet them. You might meet them, or you may meet them. You know what I'm saying? But I set really high expectations on myself, and I didn't mean it to like downplay myself or downplay what I've done. It was just like, you know, what I see myself as. I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So I was just asking him, you know, how do you feel about that? And he gave a great answer to me, and he was basically just stay the course. You know what I'm saying? And just work. You know what I'm saying? Just let the work do the talking, and everything else will show. So basically just working and not putting too much pressure on yourself, and just keep playing the right way, and everything will work out for itself.
So you actually your game on the court, is this somewhere you want to operate more on the court? Do you want to operate more in the post, or maybe at mid-range, or is this kind of wherever the game takes you?
I definitely want to operate more like around the basket. You know what I'm saying? I want to not settle as much, get to the rim more, get to the free throw line more. I feel like that'll open my game up to whole different areas. You know what I'm saying? People know I'm a shooter. People know I can shoot. So if they're worried about the drive too, I feel like it'll just open so much more up for me, open so much more up for my teammates. So that's why I've been working on getting stronger a lot, playing lower so I can attack the rim, can get to the rim, and just you know what I'm saying, play stronger, get to the free throw line, and scoring that way too.
Jabari, with that being said, when you've talked to the coaches, where do they want to see you operate more at? And you said that you worked on your ball handling skills over the summer. Who did you get a chance to work with? And you got a chance to work with KD again, correct?
No, I didn't. That video was from last summer. I didn't work with him this summer, no. But just basically working with our coaches, my player development coach here, Garrett, working with my dad, of course. Just I feel like ball handling is mostly feel. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly reps. It's mostly repetition. So just having the ball in my hands, dribbling it at full speed, dribbling it faster than game speed, just losing the ball in workouts, losing the ball in practice. It's just that's how you prepare yourself for the game. You know what I'm saying? And just as far as where the coaches see me, they see me like they don't limit me. You know what I'm saying? They don't limit my game. They see me doing everything. They see me handling the ball. They see me off the ball. They see me coming off ball screens. They see me setting screens. It's just as far as me to show them what areas I've improved in and show them what areas that I can excel in. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've excelled. I feel like I've improved in a lot as far as handling the ball and just being able to attack, being able to make the right reads while the ball's in my hands. So I'll be excited to show that this year.
Thank you, Jabari.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Good to see y'all again.
I'm going to grab food quickly. Jalen will be here in the next 5-ish minutes, but we have food available for lunch if you'd like.
times it's over? Okay. Sheesh. No, I'm everybody. Hey, look. Hey, no, I'm.
Well, that's everybody. Does that include none of the two-way guys? So everybody on standard contract is talking?
I'm here for the long haul, so we can go to 5 if you need to.
I mean, we get Jack A, sure. I'm not gonna that'd be fine for you.
She just doesn't want to watch for 3 hours. I'm like, stop it. Thank you. I don't need the commentary. Love you. Bye. Love the support. Bye. Yes. I don't know. We're not.
What's up? How you doing? Man, it feel good to be back up here. Yeah. We back. Hey, how are you?
All right, guys. Who wants the first question?
I need some sweet potato pie.
I got you.
It's fire.
Tell the people.
My bad. Fire though. It's the best.
Say something unbelievable to punish the people.
Got to. Yeah, it smells good in here. Like Mexican food. Yeah, I need a plate to go.
Hey, Jalen.
What's up?
How do you feel that you've grown as a leader from last year to now, kind of seeing the example set forth by the vets that were brought in, guys like Fred, Dillon, Jeff, and the like?
I mean, you basically said it. You know, them guys came in and, you know, helped me understand what, not even just them, just the coaching staff, everybody coming in, just showing me what they need from me, how I could lead by example, and, you know, just being one of the guys that, you know, the team could rely on. So I feel like communication is probably the biggest thing that I've grown in. You know, I'm talking to everybody. You know, we did the mini campus stuff in LA. Had the guys come out. We hooped a little bit, so I say communication.
Are there things that you learned in the way you played those last 6 weeks of the season that you bring into this season?
Yeah, it's really just you know, just being effective without just scoring. You know, having playing defense and rebounding and, you know, making the right reads and, you know, just being a help to the team other than just scoring. And when I'm not scoring, other ways how can affect the game.
Jalen, how has fatherhood changed you?
Oh man, I feel like I just got asked this question too, like one of my friends or something. I would say, you know, just looking at things differently. You know, a different perspective on how I'm gonna carry things, and, you know, I gotta be an example, you know, for my daughter. So something like that.
Hey, what would you consider a successful season for this team?
Whatever we did last year, better than that. Playoffs for sure. There shouldn't be nothing less than playoffs. And then whatever we do further into that, that's because we really locked in and grinded, but nothing less than playoffs. Yeah, for sure. I'll be saying it like every day, basically. You know, talking to the guys, like when we talking hoops, we need playoffs. There's no reason we shouldn't get there.
Jalen, have you had any extension talks with the Rockets this summer?
That's not really, you know, the focus right now. You know, whatever happens, obviously I want to be here. But the main focus is, you know, the season and what we do going forward. Like I said, the main goal is playoffs right now, so that's what the focus is.
Hey, Jalen. Good to see you.
What's up, bro?
Another year with you and Alperen together. What excites
Yeah.
you about this year's version of the partnership, I guess?
It's another year of growth. You know what I mean? We've been together since rookie year. We came in together. Yeah, it's another year of growth. Just go out there, show what we do best. Do what we do best. So, yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year.
Jalen, you obviously talked about playoffs is the goal. Does it feel different coming to this year, and why might this be the year that you guys are able to reach that goal there?
It does feel different. You know, we actually got goals set, and we see it. Like, we did it. We did it last season. I mean, obviously we didn't accomplish playoffs, but we got a taste of, like, what it feels to fight for something like that. And, you know, I think the motivation is there. The hunger is there. So, yeah, I think that's really what the difference is. Like, we fighting for something.
Jill, was there anything you specifically worked on this offseason that you wanted to see some improvement going forward?
I mean, I work on my overall game. Everything, you know, that I could do better, percentage-wise, catch and shoot, off the dribble, everything. I worked on everything. Reads, out of pick and roll, working on a double team, everything. So it's not something particular. I feel like all around my game could get better, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better over the summer.
Jalen, you went through the ups and downs of a young guard getting accustomed to the NBA the last 3 years. What do you think of Reed Sheppard and his ability to contribute? Is he a player that you think could contribute this year?
Yeah, for sure. You know, just with his shooting, I think he's going to space the floor a lot. He has high IQ. He knows how to make that corner pass when he gets in the pocket. He got a nice float. It's going to open the game for him once he hits his shots. So I think he's going to be really effective this year. Helpful, too.
Jalen, you mentioned the offseason, the mini camp, getting the guys together in LA. Can you talk about what went into you putting that together, and what came out of that?
I mean, really just, you know, the chemistry, just building that team camaraderie, and you know, doing everything together. You know, we had dinners and stuff. We kicked it. So yeah, it's really just that team camaraderie, and I mean, we're gonna go to war together. So, you know, we gotta have that fellowship too. We got, you know, talk about things. So yeah.
Fred earlier talked about how the team played at a little bit of slower pace last season. That's going to play a little bit faster this season. How much does that benefit your game doing that from the beginning of the season?
It benefits a lot. You know, I feel like I'm a fast player. I like space. I like playing on my court. And I feel like the team that we have a bunch of athletes. You know, there's a lot of guys that can run, get out in transition. You know, we got high flyers. We got athletic people on the team. So, and that comes with the, you know, the style of play that we want to play, playing defense, and, you know, getting stops and being one of the best defensive teams in the league. The more we get stops, the more we get on a run. So yeah.
Jalen, last year everything was new with Ime coming in, coaching you all. How excited is it to have him back as your head coach and being able to work with him? And what is his expectations for you?
It's super exciting. You know, I feel like Ime came in, you know, changed things for us, especially for the young guys. You know, he came in and, you know, just built that toughness and installed that toughness in us. I'm super excited for this season. I think everyone knows what, you know, he expects from us, and we're not gonna go in and, you know, be soft. We know he wants the toughness and, you know, just battling defense. He knows we're talented, and yeah, he just wants us to play hard. So I'm excited about it.
Thank you, Jalen.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Kelly a hard time for not
For
coming
being
here.
in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Well, look, if she's wearing a turtleneck, then it's her fault.
Is she over there?
No, I don't even
Did
know.
she leave?
She's going to
I felt like
Astros.
no, I figured. I felt like that was probably what did it in. She was like, I'm out.
Like, that's the worst insult you can lob at me.
For a second. I gotta go do the floor.
Sending a message.
That's incredible. That's such a CP too.
Thanks for coming. All right, bye. New bikes at Toyota Center. Hi.
I don't want people thinking we eat like this every day, unless we do. No, it's not gonna be like this every day.
Tracy's got the power. She just has to put in a call. Didn't we establish you're in charge of catering last year too? Have we added that to your list of responsibilities? Nothing moves unless Tracy says so.
I appreciate that. I'll beat you halfway through. Okay. Good looking out though. Okay.
I haven't had any though. Yeah. I heard the con might open. I was like, okay. Sorry, sweet. Brian, what did you say? You said something.
Who's next, Tracy?
Jae'Sean.
What's that?
Jae'Sean. Jae'Sean, then Aaron, the birthday.
You're probably holding a schedule?
Tari, Cam, Jeff, Jock, and then Randy. I told you, 14.
Hey, what are you talking about? A minute? It was a minute?
Yeah. Where? So then you don't need to talk to me tomorrow after.
It's unbelievable.
Not all of them.
caught everybody on the lunch break.
I know, exactly.
Same thing happened to Jalen.
First question, Jonathan.
Guys who've been in here talked about the goals and playoffs and things like that. For you, having been here longer than everybody, how does it feel to have that kind of goal for the first time in the NBA?
It's exciting. I mean, I think it's one of the things I've wanted most over the last few years. You know, this is going in year 5, and I still haven't been able to experience playoff basketball. And just knowing that that's our goal, and seeing the growth from year to year from the time that I've been here, I think we're ready to take that next step forward.
Jae'Sean, right over here. This is your 5th year, but what are your thoughts on the new training facility?
Oh, I think I've spent more time there than I have at my house since it's been up. So just very appreciative of, you know, Mr. 𝗖𝗧𝗛𝗧 and the organization. I mean, this is one of the top best facilities I've ever been able to, you know, train in, and you can't keep guys out of the gym. Just doesn't matter what time of day, there's somebody in there on the team getting work in, and it just gives us a safe space. And I think as NBA athletes, we need that, and it's going to be very what's the word I want to say? It's going to be very eye-opening to see what we do this year.
Jae'Sean, the years that you've been here, there's always been a lot of changes, whether it's with the roster, with the coaching staff. How much easier is it to come into this season when basically the entire staff is the same and the entire roster is the same?
Yeah, like you said, the last few years it's just been completely different, and to just be able to like kind of run it back with the same team with a few additional pieces. I think we're going to hit the ground rolling tomorrow at training camp, and there's a lot of little things we don't really have to go over necessarily because we've been around here this summer, and you know, we had a year of learning each other with players and coaches. So I'm excited to see how this camp goes.
Jae'Sean, right here. You've always been one of those people who, you know, fought for everything that you got. You know, you came in, when you got here, you were fighting for playing time. You made the roster. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of competition at the spots that you are at the 3 and the 4 position. How do you feel going into camp knowing that you're going to have to, you know, basically compete for those spots again?
Just excited. I think every day we walk in here, we're competing. You know, that's part of it. And with that, it's just going to raise the level of everybody, which will make us ultimately a better team. So I don't think anybody on this team is ducking any competition. We're kind of just looking forward to it.
When Dillon was in here earlier, he said one of the things he learned about the team last year was the team had a little bit of fight in them. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be something going forward. How are you feeling about that? Because really your signature is that you're everywhere on the floor and you play with a lot of toughness. Is that something you see from this team that's beginning to develop a kind of a personality? Yeah, definitely. I think you saw it with how our rookies didn't back down last year. That's just kind of the culture that we are continuing to build, and just knowing that when I take the floor, there's other dogs out there with me. It's awesome because you know you got your teammates have your back. So you know there's going to be some heated battles, and we're looking for it. We're looking for a fight.
From day one, you've been one of the best defensive players on the Rockets. Last year, the Rockets were a top 10 defensive team. How is it for you being a defensive-minded player, being able to play for a defensive-minded coach like 𝗖𝗎𝗓? It's great. There's just so much that I've learned over this, past season with having a defensive-minded coach, and the growth I've had. I'm still gotta, stop fouling as much. But other than that, man, just having that peace of mind on the offensive end, knowing that, as long as you try hard on defense, that's the main thing. That's what our focus is. And, I just enjoy being here. I enjoy playing for Coach Udoka.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Somebody left it one.
You're not mincing that one.
I'm not. I'm glad somebody's happy Jack is on.
What?
Yes, Aaron next. Jack's gonna get the first question.
Who's next?
Aaron. I forgot Jackson. She's already back. I'm trying to keep in my head how many to do fast.
How do you even do it? You just, it's all just up here? It's all just up here? Okay.
I'm not writing it down.
I wasn't sure if you had like a,
That's why.
in my head at one point, I was wondering, I was like, does she just have like a Google Doc open and she's like typing names and like everybody's checking their phone? Because like, how do you even communicate with like, the other side?
Chance that you could actually get this.
So good, but it weighed like a pound. That was the heaviest chocolate chip cookie I've ever eaten in my life. That was a good drink. I know, I fast. Can't believe it. That's what it is.
I didn't even, when I was gonna ask the follow-up, the second one to Steven, like, you gave me the eye roll, and I was like, oh, give me the prime, because it was gonna be a funny one anyways to ask about Dillon. And
Sure. Some of them I actually do have to cut, even when I know that people have raised their hands.
Yeah.
We've got players waiting outside. We have 21 stations you guys have to get through in 3 hours.
this counts as one whole station.
Correct.
What's the station, this one that takes the most amount of time, I'm guessing, or are there other ones that take more than this one?
We do an intro. I mean, we have 2 intros.
So
We
good.
have all the marketing needs, and then I go, how are you? Good to see you. You know.
Sorry. How dare you have?
We have everything from NBA entertainment, sit-downs with flagships, TV and radio, all of the social media content, all of the content that's on the video boards in game, 2 intros, all of the photos, so Chronicle, Yankee, you know, NBA headshots, NBA photos, everything, all of the photos are in the loading dock.
Over the
And I have to coordinate it all in the game, the game ops room. We have 790, we have our Spanish flagship. So we have a mix between media and marketing.
And if you're a photographer, you better figure out how to, like,
Yeah,
can I get
so
another
everybody has, like, time, they have what every station should be. I only have a 3-hour period, so they have to be full. So the challenge is always
This is your post. This is your game 7.
No, I wish it was that much.
Okay.
I have been in game 7. It's a little bit more hectic than this, but I was coordination every day. My department, so that's a lot. But I think just to maximize the amount of players in uniform, excited, coordinating, doing whatever we need to do, marketing, sound, the whole thing. So trying to see as much as we can into today without taking 4 hours.
I would let you know if there was a player there. I'm honoring PR.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't want to get people.
Aaron says, are we going to sing happy birthday to him?
If you can get the rest of the room in, sure.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Is his birthday today?
Somebody asked about disrespectful things that have the egos and instead being a San Antonio
Happy birthday to you.
Appreciate it.
Happy birthday, dear Aaron. Happy birthday to you.
Appreciate it.
I mean, the singing.
The singing, no. Maybe like from the rookies, but never from media. Appreciate you guys.
That was the first.
Yeah, that was a first for sure.
Who wants the first question? Jackson.
Hey, Aaron. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So again, happy birthday. But
Thank you.
Look, there's a lot of continuity on this roster. A lot of the same faces from last season.
Mhm.
But there are two new ones: Steven Adams and Reed Sheppard coming in as a rookie. Kind of, what are your early impressions of both of them and what they can bring to this team?
My early impressions on both of them, they're great guys, great basketball players. We had a mini camp, I think, in Miami. I got to play on Steven's team for most of it. So it was a great time. You could just tell how smart he is, how well-rounded he is. Obviously the boxing out and stuff, but on offense, he really knows the game and sees the game in a different way than I do. So it was good talking to him and playing with him out there. And Reed, he's been great. He obviously can shoot the ball really well. He's good and active defensively. And he could pass the ball at a high level as well. So it's just getting him implemented into the game and trying to not trying to help him, but like he has to understand the pace of the game and his pace. And every rookie goes through it, and he plays at a really good pace right now. So it shouldn't take him too long to adjust to the NBA game.
What are some of your expectations for this team and for yourself this season?
My expectations are making the playoffs, getting to where we want to be seed-wise and before going to the playoffs. So whatever seed we want to be at, that's where my expectations are. But just trying to play hard. We're obviously going to come out and play hard, play defense hard, hopefully shoot a lot of threes, do whatever Coach Ime wants us. But I think we're going to make the playoffs this year. And for myself, just continue to be a good teammate and help guide these guys whenever I'm on the court.
Aaron, you were here last year on a one-year deal, and obviously when we last saw you in April, you weren't sure if you'd be back. Why did you want to stay? Aside from the business, what made you want to stay with the Rockets?
I love the city. My family's real comfortable here. The organization treats me very well. My teammates. I think I was one of the later guys to sign back here, so I knew we had pretty much the same team, and I love being around these guys. They're really great people and on and off the court, so that really swayed my decision a lot.
Aaron, what excites you most about this team?
Mm-hmm.
What you guys can accomplish? What do you like about this team from a basketball perspective?
Yeah, I feel like we have a good mix of vets and young guys. We're real exciting to watch. Our defense is going to be through the roof. I feel like we could take another step defensively this year. Just being more comfortable in the system for a whole year, it helps the following years. And offensively, we can score with the best of them. So I feel like having a team that we had once last year come again this year and just be together, I feel like we can raise our level in offense and defense.
Aaron, kind of along those same lines, almost everybody who said the goal is to make the playoffs we talked to today, but do you look around your locker room, the guys you're playing against and with every day, and think there's even more talent maybe than that? What do you see in this team from a talent perspective?
I mean, we're really talented. Again, we got a good mixture of talent through the vets and the young guys. We have guys like myself who obviously know their role and going to help the younger guys the best way I can, as well as try to do my job each and every night. So we're very talented. We got more talent with Steven and Reed adding on, so I think we could say we're more talented than last year for sure.
What are some of those practices like going up against those young guys?
Just from last year, or I mean, it's just fun. You know, you just get out there, play hard, and compete. Obviously, they have to learn a little bit more because it's their first couple of years, but it's always fun. They're super talented and super great people, so it's always a good time for sure.
Last question, Chris.
Aaron, what's it going to take to make the playoffs?
Just saying, I'll say staying disciplined, whether that's our game plan, defense, offense, just doing what we do every night. Obviously, you have ups and downs during the season, but I feel like as long as we stay at it, stay disciplined, we'll be all right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tari. Okay. We missed it. I was only
going to college, I mean, that's all. You came to the college. See, my challenge is, I'm not extremely tall, but I'm bigger than her face for that. And because, I'm just being honest, one discipline enough. So I'm like, can't do that.
Y'all can't do buffets now.
Reset what you got. Try to do that.
I seen this doctor in China do buffet. I said, no, I'm good. Let me take that back. There is a buffet. Man, it's not a buffet, but it's a good salad bar. Taste of Texas.
Is that a shirt or something? I looked at it. I didn't even know it was ready. I saw it. Much better than what happened.
And it works with the 16 too, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a good at this. It must be a strength. It feels good. It's like a strength. It's a jacket.
Keep yourself protected. My bad, Chris. Hey, you ain't lying about you right now. But they give, you know what, though, year after year, they give them all the years and stuff, so that's part of it.
They're not really getting those. They just need to make it extra.
Did you do your marquee for my cause? I did my Southern American Heart Association. Because my wife's second oldest niece has heart issues, but she's 19 now. She was born in Madisonville. They had she was born in Cyprus, and they had to fly her down to the medical center as soon as she was born because her heart was they life like that. So I did American Heart Association.
Don't give that.
You know what else Cody told me? Cody said that with the Lions, they walk in, they be like, you can't afford that shoe, then you just watch. You watch long. They don't even get a chance to watch you stretch, none of that. You walk in, you take attendance who's there, and then you just
How about that? I mean, they have to let you shoot something. You must have a strong laser.
I don't know, but Cody, he just helping out. He just helping out. But he like, yeah, man, he says it's way different for the Texans. He says that what you call it runs like Bill O'Brien used to run. What's that coach name? Dan Campbell? I'm watching her tonight though, because they play, they got them nice uniforms they playing, the black uniforms.
Last night.
What I don't understand is, like today, why are we getting 2 Monday night football games for 2 weeks in a row?
They're not even good.
I know I did the first two to the league, but now you can keep doing that. So why can't you go?
They've been playing on that too much.
Too much.
I found the wrong league this weekend around lunch.
How's everybody doing today? I'm good. I'm blessed.
First question, Brian.
Tari, how good does it feel just to be, back playing basketball?
It's a blessing, man. Words can't even really describe how happy I am to play basketball again. When I started back this summer, the first time I almost cried, damn near going live again, because it was just a lot of emotions and, everything coming full circle.
Jonathan.
After missing the time that you did, where is your game now, and when did you feel it got to wherever you find it to be now?
I mean, my game is somewhere, it's similar to where it was last year. Just, I think I can shoot the ball a little bit better. The game has slowed down for me more. Not being able to play, I think, gives you a different perspective on the game, just seeing it from a different angle. And when you get back out there, there are certain things that I guess you didn't pick up on that you do now. So I'll say the game definitely slowed down.
Kim?
Tari, what excites you about not just being back with this team? I mean, you missed the end of last season, but seeing the growth. What excites you about where the team is and where you think it can go?
I mean, probably the same thing that excites everybody else. Young, exciting group of guys who are tenacious and just exciting to watch. I mean, especially, you know, with Reed coming in and me coming back, and we got Steven Adams. There's just a lot of energy coming around this team, a lot of positive energy. So hopefully just trying to add to that.
Tari, you mentioned a moment ago kind of a different perspective when you're not playing. What were some of those kind of specific things that you picked up on that you were able to kind of key in on when you were not playing? And then a non-basketball question. I know you're a big movie guy. What's the best movie you've seen since we last got a chance to talk to you?
Okay. So to answer your first question, something that I've definitely picked up on is just reading Low Man. I think it's easier to see when you just see it, how it can be done correctly and incorrectly, and just kind of seeing that many a time, like when there's two who's open and stuff like that. Reads like that, I think, have really started to present themselves. They're just a lot more evident for me now. And I say the best movie that I've watched. Oh, that's a good question. This year, what has come out? We've had some pretty bad movies come out. Had some pretty bad movies come out. That's a good question. What was your favorite movie? And then I can maybe piggyback off of that.
Now you got me on the spot. You know what? We'll circle back on this.
Yeah, we'll circle.
I need some time to think about it.
Yeah, we'll circle back for sure.
Hey, Tari. Dillon a little earlier talked about how this team, especially towards the end of the year, began to develop a little bit of feistiness, a little toughness on the floor. I'm wondering, that seems to fit your game particularly well. When you saw that, does that feel like something that the team is developing, the personality of having a bit of grit and toughness to it?
Yeah, I think some of that is either it's just in you, but for me, like you said, that's just kind of always been my game. That's just who I am. So not really, you know, pretending or being anything other than just kind of myself, and it bleeds into everything else.
Brian?
Tari, how exciting is it to finally get a chance to play for a head coach who pretty much has the same mindset that you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I played for him last year a little bit, not for too long, but it, you know, Coach Udoka has been really great, especially to this young group of guys, helping us, like I said before, with our professionalism and just, you know, showing up and being the best version of ourselves each day. So I'm really excited to work with him. I'm always excited to work with him, and I'm just excited to get this year going.
Mr. Fertitta mentioned during the training facility grand opening that the Rockets had the deepest team in the NBA. Last year, the Rockets bench was top 5 in production with yourself and now Steven Adams and Reed Sheppard. Do you believe that the Rockets can be the top bench unit in the NBA?
I mean, yeah. If I don't believe it, you know, of course. If I don't believe it, would you? Right.
What's going on, Tari? I noticed by your IG lives and just your social media, you seem to be pretty close with Reed. What impressed you about him, and what have you got a chance to get to know? How have you got a chance to get to know him just over the offseason and their relationship?
Yeah, really when Reed got drafted, I reached out to him, told him, you know, if he ever needed anything, to reach out to me. And I've just been really impressed with his poise. Coming in as a rookie, you know, certain things could, you know, it feels like certain things might be moving at a mile a minute, but for him, he seems like, you know, he's kind of already been here before, and the level of just professionalism he has is really nice to see.
Thank you, Tari.
Yep, thank you. Have a good one.
Oh, that's right, was he? I was like, yeah.
He did catch me. I was like, I've seen a bunch of good movies here. I was on a Boston. I'm trying to think of the name. I'm blanking. What movie is that? I know. I can see it. I can see the whole time. And I wanted to catch up with that movie, but excellent. Have you seen Oh, the 10. Oh, no. Is it new? It's a comedy one?
Whatever the new name for HBO is. Since they change it every 2 months.
We appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Come on, Greg, do some reporting. You got this. Believe me.
What's up? What's up?
When you were at Media Day last year, you were a rookie and a young rookie at that. How have you changed? How are you now compared to what you were then?
I'll say I changed as a person, changed as a player. I'll say I got a little stronger, faster. My IQ level got a little better. Just, yeah, better as a man, better as a person. That's really it.
What was your off season like, Cam?
A lot of vacations. I had to take a lot of time away from basketball. It was definitely a long season. My body started breaking down when I was probably in February. But yeah, I'm grateful for my first season. I definitely thought it was, very different and not as the season I really wanted it to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm grateful for it. But first off season, spent it well with family, friends. It was different. I had a lot of time on my hands. I didn't really have to worry about school for once. But it was better. I loved it.
Cam, I noticed that was interesting. You said you grew as a person and as a man. I'm curious, like what was that like for you, and what kind of was up with that? And then also for you, what did you learn from last year, your rookie season, that you feel like can help you go into your second year?
I'll say, I just spent a lot of time with vets. I really went up to California. That was really my first off season where I kind of trained, with Chris Johnson and Dash. So with the certain guys or like Jalen Brown, where he's telling me he sees a lot of myself, himself in my game. So kind of model my game after him. Like I went to the MBPA in Malaga, Spain this summer. Spent a lot of time out there with some vets, and they taught me a lot of things about the league in general, how to handle it, and just the ups and downs where it comes with, and that's really it. How just gonna handle it at the end of the day.
Any other questions? Ben?
There's obviously a lot of depth on the bench for Ime to sort of choose between. What do you feel like you bring that's unique in terms of what you offer?
I would say a scoring style where that's different from, anybody in the league, I think. And then I think my athletic ability can, the way we play, just in general as a whole team, that we're a fast-paced team, we can, get up and down the floor. And I think, I'm at least, up there with them guys, and also, in the league in general. But I think, I fit well with the first and second unit.
You said a little bit earlier that you started to get tired, started to break down a little bit at the end. What did that teach you about what you need to do about going about your routine this year and how to change sort of that pattern to make sure you can last a whole season?
It's different. I went from, high school and then 1 year in college. That's like, I played like 20 games. So, and then jumping from trying to play 82. So, I played like 40-something games last year. And then just really means just taking care of your body, eating right, diet. That comes with it. Lifting after the games, make sure, your tendon loading, stuff like that. So, just making sure, on top of that.
Cam, was there any one specific skill that you focused on this offseason, or that the coaching staff really wanted you to hone in on this offseason?
I'm just trying to be a two-way guy who, can score at all 3 levels, not just 2.
So I mean, I got to work on my midi. You know, how to get to my spot, what to do, get my spot to the floater, get my spot for a dribble pull-up, you know, just something like that. How to, you know, get my defender off his feet and then, you know, get to my spots.
Cam, what would you say the competition was like last year and has
Yeah.
been like this offseason, just among your teammates, and as it's moving into this year, what's the
Yeah.
competition amongst each other going to be like?
It's going to be a battle. I mean, everybody can play, everybody can hoop. So, I mean, just a battle of who wants it more. Same thing, I mean, you know, this season. So last year was just a start, 41-41. So, I mean, let's see what we can do this upcoming year. And at the end of the day, I mean, everybody wants, you know, we have one goal is, you know, get to the playoffs. I mean, I feel like that's it can be done for everybody, and everybody, you know, wants to buy in to that one goal. So, I mean, if we get there, we get there. But I think we can get over that hump.
Thank you, Cam.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Jeff, just what are your thoughts on Dikembe Mutombo?
Yeah, I literally just found out right before I got here. So, you know, my condolences go out to him and his family. I mean, it was somebody who impacted me since day one, being a Georgetown alum. You know, he gave me pointers since my rookie year, even when I was at Georgetown, on how to become a pro. So, you know, I owe a lot to him. And I know he touched a lot of people in this world with his joy, his excitement for life, and just his energy. So, you know, we lost a good one, but, you know, I'm just happy he's in a better place. No more pain, and, you know, but it sucks, you know, that, you know, we lose somebody so great, somebody who was so giving to the community, the people around him. And like I said, he impacted a lot of people, and, you know, he touched a lot of people. So it hurts, but, you know, I'm glad that he's in a better place.
Hey, Jeff, good to see you again. Last summer, you, Fred, Dillon, you guys were all kind of brought in to be the veterans, the leaders for this young group of guys with this team. How do you kind of balance going into year two now, still being the leaders, still, you know, setting the right example for these young guys, but also giving them kind of room to grow and breathe and also become leaders in their own right in that locker room?
Honestly, I think it's the same approach. You know, I feel like after the little success that we had and, you know, almost reaching our goal, you can't be content with the progress that we made. So I think our approach to drilling the, you know, much needed consistency that we're going to need to play better than we did last year is going to be needed from day one. So I don't think, you know, our approach has to change. And like you said, for the young guys that went through what they went through last year, it's just becoming better than they were last year. Using the tools that Ime or the other vets, myself, gave them to become successful, to be a better player, better team player, using those tools to, you know, further progress, you know, the career and, you know, make our team better. So, you know, we just got to come in with the same mentality that we did last year towards getting better, you know, getting 1% better each day, and just have fun with it.
Hey, Jeff, can you talk about what makes you want to still come back to this team? I mean, you're a veteran, you've got a ring, you've been doing this for a minute. What excites you about still being a part of what's happening with the Rockets?
For me, it's always been bigger than myself. It's always trying to see how I can implement my, you know, whether it be IQ, whether it be versatility, basketball tools to make the team better. It's always been a challenge. I always like challenges, and, you know, this is just another chapter in my career where I see I'm needed, where I can help and make a team better. You know, and I'm all for it. I don't look at it as, you know, a young team, I'm older, why am I here? No, this is a challenge in where I can still get better as a player and as a person, and as a vet, use the knowledge that was given to me when I was younger to help some of the young guys out that's here now to become a better professional. and that's what it's all about when you get to my age at this standpoint. Yeah, I mean, reality, right? It is what it is.
Jeff, you talk about your age, and you're still a young man, but you've been in this league a very long time. What are some of the things that you use to be able to connect to some of these younger players?
Yeah, I understand the question. I'm trying to figure out how to answer it. I find ways. For me, it's about just learning the person. I'm not trying to like what they like. I'm not trying to do what they do. For me, it's about understanding the person in general. I want to know, things about you, where you come from, who's here, the simple things, who you're here with, more about them personally to understand them as a person. I don't really, outside of that, I don't try to, get into their world. And when it comes to basketball, it's trying to figure out the things that they like on the court and how it can benefit us as a team. And when we're on together, how I can understand them as a player to put them in good spots to be successful. And throughout the years, you learn those ways and how to connect with guys. And, I've been implementing those tools like I've been preaching on how I can connect with guys. And it's been successful. I think they like me. I think we're cool, So, but it's fun. It's fun, man. It's, learning, what guys like, their tendencies, what they're trying to accomplish throughout their career. And, obviously everybody want to be an all-star. Everybody want to, have goals. But, my job as a vet is to help them become professionals and help them learn how to have longevity. And that's what I was taught, and that's how I'm at this point. It's not by me just getting here. I've learned from some key vets that I had, Kevin Garnett, Vince Carter, who I had the opportunity to play with. They taught me a lot, and now is my opportunity to give that knowledge and pass it down.
I was about to ask you about the same. You mentioned it's fun. Does those relationships and the mentoring side of it, what part?
Jock,
what's
my guy.
part does that play? You're choosing to continue your career in the years to come, whatever joy or fun you get from mentoring, relationships, and so on.
I'll be honest with you. When you get older in this league, you don't take these years for granted. Every opportunity you have to come into the gym, to be surrounded by you guys, the front office, anybody dealing with the Rockets organization, you don't take it for granted. You seize these opportunities and you make the most of it. That's why you guys always see me. I'm joyful. I'm always playful. Because for me, you never know when this is going to be over. So with the teammates that I have, media, the personnel around, I try to, embrace everybody. I try to make sure that, that day counts. So when it's over, I can say that I lived, this NBA life to the fullest. And when it comes to my teammates, you all right? Just to make sure you're all right. Yeah, okay. And when it comes to my teammates, I just try to, embrace the relationship with those guys, have fun with those guys because, I've had a lot of teammates throughout my career, and I want to, be able to enjoy the moments that I have in the gym with those guys because that's who I got to go to battle with each day. So I want them to know that they can trust me, that, I'm going to be there for them. So, and that's part of it, and that's part of getting to know them. So I try to embrace it all, everything that comes with it, and, have fun with it. Cool. Happy Media Day, guys.
Hi guys. Good.
So you're not the only person from Australia here now. What is that like? Obviously, there's not a ton of Aussies in the NBA. Now there's two big men on the same team. What's that been like so far for you?
Who you talking about?
You're not talking about Steve. Steve is not Australian. Did he try and claim that he was Australian? Same part of the world, but yeah, not Australian. No way. Yeah, I mean, playing with Steve is awesome. Had the opportunity to kind of get to know him properly last year, whilst he was, you know, obviously in and out with injury and all of that, but a fantastic bloke to have around the locker room and just to have around in general. We kind of get along like a house on fire, so it's been really enjoyable to hang out a bunch. Yeah, but not Australian. Don't give him that. Don't give him that.
I may be wrong, but Jack McVay is also here.
Correct.
So what's it like being teammates with Jack McVay? Because he is Australian.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Ask him all the hard questions you guys have asked me, okay? Sorry, ask him about the Olympics.
How was Turkey? Because you got to go do a second trip, right?
I wanted to visit Alpha. It was, you know, my teammate. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant.
All right,
See ya. Yeah, having Jack's awesome. It's the first time I've had an Aussie teammate in the NBA, I believe. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, it would be, and I've missed a few of them by like a year or two. So having Jack around's been really cool. You know, he's a great guy. I had the opportunity to play with him in the Olympics. It's one of those guys who never has a bad day. Like, so much so that it's like, come on, man, like, come back down to earth with the rest of us. But he's an awesome bloke, great character, great player, has like an exorbitant amount of confidence. So yeah, it's a joy to have Jack around and start taking over the locker room with these Aussie and Kiwis.
Jock, how much better physically do you feel going into training camp this year relative to this time a year ago?
Dude, it's yeah. I'm glad you asked that because it is completely different feeling this time last year. And I don't think I gave it credit last year where I was at this point. I was like, I'm good. Like, everything's great. And it just wasn't. So, yeah, I feel back to myself. I feel as though I put in a lot of good work, and it's the benefit of having the Olympics is you're able to put in that good work, show that it's kind of paying off, and then kind of continue to stack on top of that. So, yeah, I feel miles better this time around compared to last year. Finally did a bunch of testing today, and it was like off the charts compared to last year. So I'm really happy with where I'm at physically. It was a long road to get back to this, but yeah, pumped about it.
At what point last season did you finally feel that you were comfortable in this system? It seemed like when you first started out, you were just trying to get used to everyone. But at what point was it where you finally found your footing on the court?
Like we were just saying, it wasn't so much about not fitting the system. I think for me, my job is so simple: screen, run hard, rebound hard, and the rest just kind of takes care of itself. And so it wasn't really a matter of like getting comfortable with the system. My body just was not able to keep up with the level of play. And there were times where I was looking at myself in the mirror being like, dude, if this doesn't fix itself, like this is bad. So thank goodness I was able to kind of get it back into the right place. But if you're talking about, my body as far as when did I feel as though I could get back to the level of play that I kind of showed you guys that I could do at the end of the season, probably around about the new year, like January, I was feeling good. I was playing well off to the side, which nobody ever sees, but like I was testing back at where I was at physically. Just the instinct of not having really done anything in 8-9 months was back. The team was just kind of set in stone at that point, and they liked what they had going. So that was just kind of the situation that was at hand, and thankfully I was able to kind of dig myself out of that and make sure that I was able to show that, hey, I can still do this, and then really put the nail in that coffin at the Olympics, where I felt like I really showed that I was back to what I was. So yeah, I feel as though it wasn't so much just the system of play, it was more so the physical, and then like mentally, man, I was in a gutter. Like I was in a real bad spot just because I was concerned about the ankles, concerned about where I was at with the contract and the body, and there was just a long list of things that I wasn't really able to pull myself out of. Luckily, I have a great group of people around me. I have a team that cares, coaching staff that cares, and they were kind of helping me through all that. And yeah.
being part of a center rotation with Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams, do you feel like that's one of the best center rotations you've been part of? And how is it going to benefit your game to be able to play against guys like that in practice every day?
Massive. I mean, they're two blokes that are starting centers in the NBA, plain and simple, Steven and Albie. So, that's an interesting dynamic for sure. But you look at where we're at. I believe I'm one of the best backups in the NBA, and fortunately we have three of us that are pretty damn good. So I have no problem saying that they're a few steps ahead of me. But you don't look around the league too much and think we got problems at that position comparatively. I think that the Rockets have put together a phenomenal center spot. And so being able to go up against each other the past couple of weeks, it's kind of been like a sink or swim type feeling, or iron sharpens iron, whatever you want to call it, where it feels like we've all taken steps. I think that, for Alpie being where he's at in his career, which is like he's on the precipice of being one of the best, being able to kind of get like a different look at that position to defend against, one that's probably a little more mobile than me, and then one with Steve where it's like you got to do your work early and really put some lumber on this dude. So I've seen growth in him just these last couple of weeks, and then Steve just being who he is, bringing that physicality for me is special as well. Being able to like go up against them is, you got a guy who's super skilled, speaking for myself, a guy who's super skilled in Alpie that I get to play against, and then a guy who's just like a real bulldog in Steve, or a grizzly bear, I should say. So, yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been fun, and I think that we're all going to grow because of it. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Right, but even if it wasn't,
That's not ideal for fans.
they don't care. They don't really like the Astros.
I've never understood. I know baseball's weird about 60-some games. I've never understood the idea of like A games. Like, does that not like just truck like the attendance ratings and stuff? Like if it's on like a Wednesday at like 2 in the afternoon, like do you not suddenly have like half your one of those attendance numbers for those kinds of games?
Right.
It's baseball. People like it. Yeah.
Tradition. There we go. The sport of tradition. So businessmen special. I heard somebody. I don't know. I think it was in a show.
Yeah.
I just don't love it. Yeah. That was really honest. Someone needs a joke about baseball being a museum masquerading as a sport. Yeah.
Sometimes
I just got a text from her.
that's nice.
He just sent me a photo of Detroit media day.
I'm rubbing it in his face.
I was going to tell you that earlier.
He told somebody earlier, don't get that.
Yeah, don't get
I told him, I asked him,
Yeah.
don't get that. He's like,
I thought that, so what's the feedback on the gift bag?
Great, thank you.
What is it, the jacket, what is it? We thought it was a shirt. They had a game. What is it?
It's a jacket and then it's
But I guarantee you, batteries left up in the media section at some point. Like somebody's just gonna start hating the person. I left a charger here. I got some of the
yes, let me talk tomorrow, to make sure that she has your phone. Yeah. Oh, good. You enjoy that? That was the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the right size.
Yeah. Tracy, you guys could be like the Astros.
Yes, right. Never mind.
Jackson will have it anyway on his YouTube.
No, I'm in Astro.
Oh, Astros. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, those two Jackson.
It's always funny. I'll even tell Ben like I'm uploading stuff, and then I'll like go check a rocket fire on it later, and he links back on the video.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love the Jackson and that.
It's the waves of the bronze.
Yeah, right.
Because I was doing
You're welcome.
I did an interview with should have been a bag, Tracy. We should forfeit his bag.
In fairness, it was in the sign not getting the meeting.
Send it to
Kelly's
Cody.
not getting the meeting. What? Kelly's not
Sorry,
getting the
you
meeting.
didn't pick up your credentials.
Bye.
Some of those have actually gotten changed. But yeah, that was, back in the day, they had to do internship.
Yeah,
To prep them, and so yeah, it's always awkward, like years later when others say, when they want it off, immediately recall.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm amazing. You?
A little while ago, Fred mentioned you as someone that he felt like over the summer looked a lot different than in the spring. Would you agree with that assessment? And if so, what are the ways that, you're different now relative to when we last saw you play?
He said I was different.
Yeah, that you look different in the summer workouts relative to, the spring.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I feel different. I'm improving in everything, body, basketball. So I feel good.
I mean, what was your first NBA offseason like? What'd you work on? How did you approach it? And what was your focus this offseason?
Yeah, my focus was to just be, get a lot better throughout the summer, and I've been really working on, everything, all aspects of my game, shooting, ball handling, finishing, being a leader, just trying to be the best player I could be going into this year.
Wanted to ask about your jump shot. Do you feel like you've made strides in that department? Did you have any kind of mechanical tweaks or overloads? Can you kind of talk about your work in that area this summer?
Yeah, I definitely made a lot of strides in that. Just finding what works best for me, honestly. And working with Ben, Matt McQuaid, and the rest of the Rocket staff, they've helped me a lot.
Coach Udoka was saying earlier that he thought you were somebody that they could just plug into pretty much any position on the floor. Do you have that kind of versatility? Can you talk a little bit about how that impacts your game, the choices you sort of make? Because you could be playing center one game, point guard the next game. How do you go about your game that way?
I mean, yeah, just whatever the coaches, whatever my team needs from me that day. If they need me to be point guard, I could do that. They need me to be center, I could do that. Anything in between. So, I mean, I feel like it's a good thing to have that on the team.
Growing up, you and your brother spent so much time together. This is the first time you all have spent so much time apart because, he plays in Detroit and you play here. What was the off season like, just being able to reconnect with your brother?
Yeah, off season it was fun. We both went to Florida, worked out together, played some one-on-ones. Y'all know how that goes. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. Seeing him, and yeah, I'm excited for him too. I'm excited for myself and him.
Just to follow up on Jeff's question, understanding you're happy to do whatever's asked, whatever position. What do you enjoy the most? If
Position I
pick and
enjoy?
roll, dunker spot, point guard, what you like?
I love the ball in my hands, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So it's just what can I do next to help the team. we got so many good ball handlers, so many good off-ball players. I mean, you really put me anywhere.
Hey, man. Good to see you again. What does a successful season look like in your eyes for both you personally and for the team as a whole?
Shoot, for me personally, I want to make all defensive team, you know, most improved player. As a team, just making the playoffs, really. Those are like, not just making the playoffs, like thriving in the playoffs, really. I feel like that's the goal. That's what everybody talks about around here, so.
I mean, can you discuss those summer workouts you had with the USA Select team? You joked last week that, you know, there were no hard matchups. How do you think those helped you grow as a player playing in that environment?
Just like building confidence, you see how you go against those guys. Those are the best players ever at the USA. So just playing those guys, competing, and doing what you got to do, I feel like that built confidence going into this year.
I mean, what do you know about, what do you understand better about the NBA and being an NBA player this year than you did last year?
I'm just knowing, like, NBA games a lot more mental. You know, once you can, like, conquer that part and tap into your mental, I feel like you can really, like, do anything. So just I went through a lot last year with injuries and sicknesses, and getting over that, I feel like that made me stronger as a player and as a person. So.
Last one, Brian.
So I asked you this earlier, but now that you've been through the test, you've been through this, have you measured yourself yet? Because once again, it looks like you've grown over the summer. Did you grow?
I don't know. I haven't measured myself. I haven't measured myself, so I don't know. But that would be cool, you know. I hope so.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
See you guys.
Me too. Texas game was great.
It was fire. I almost left for a second.
Hello. I know, now I got the mustache, huh?
Who wants the first question? Michael? Wait for Michael. Thank you.
Hi, Rick. Good to see you. When we first saw you, clean shaven last week, scraggly beard, today, mustache. Have you decided on a facial hair choice for the season?
I have not. Haven't had much to do other than get in the gym and work out last couple months, so just been kind of doing whatever, and today we ended with the mustache, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Brian?
There's been a lot of talk about your basketball IQ. Where does that come from?
I think it's just from my parents, and always being in the gym and just being taught to play basketball kind of the right way, and always making the right basketball play. And then if you don't make that right basketball play, you'll hear about it later at night. So I think just mom and dad just being there for me and being able to coach me and just being around basketball so much my whole life.
Reed, coming in from college to the NBA, you really don't know what to expect, but I noticed you've already developed a really nice relationship with your teammates. How have you kind of seen some of the veterans embrace you since you've joined the team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone has been very welcoming, and it's been really cool to be able to interact and talk to them. So, you know, I'm just, like you said, I'm new. I don't know what to expect, so I'm just really excited for the season, being able to learn as much as I can. You know, it's just going to be a lot of fun. The travel, the games, everything, just hanging out with the guys is going to be a lot of fun.
Jack?
A couple of guys earlier, when asked about you, said that they were impressed by not just your IQ and your acumen, but your toughness, and something they may not have been expecting. Can you talk a little bit about having some of that grit and determination, which seems to be something the Rockets are trying to develop as a personality?
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of that comes from my parents as well. A lot of it comes from my mom. You know, she was definitely definitely the harder one. You know, anytime she just made sure you were in line. No, anytime you go out onto the court, no one's gonna compete or play harder than you. Her big thing is just don't be soft. So I know they say Coach 𝗖𝗎𝗓 says that a lot, but you know, that's mom and dad's thing growing up is just don't be soft. If you get knocked down, get back up. You know, so I think a lot of that just comes from them and just what they've installed in me growing up.
Hey Reed, what's been kind of the best part and maybe the worst part so far of your first media day?
There hasn't been a worst part. You know, I'm super thankful to be here. I think the best part's just having fun with it. You know, it's like you said, my first media day. I'm in the NBA, so it's just having fun, passing my teammates, giving them high fives, putting on the Rockets jersey, shooting all the content. So it's been really cool. I'm glad to be here.
And kind of as a follow-up to that, I know you haven't played an NBA game yet in the regular season, but what have you learned so far through the summer and working out with your teammates just about being an NBA player?
Yeah, they definitely get in the gym and work. They don't stop since they've made it to the NBA. They don't stop working. They don't stop getting in the gym and taking care of their body. But you know, taking care of your body more. You know, the NBA is like 3 college seasons put into one. So being able to take care of your body and just everything, whether it's eating, drinking, lifting, treatment, everything, just take care of your body. And you can see it just watching these guys, whether they tell you or not. You can just see them every day getting their work in, eating right, and just taking care of themselves.
Of course, you were one of the best shooters in the nation in college, and we saw some of your shooting display during summer league. Do you feel like your shooting range can expand even more as you go throughout your NBA career?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the stronger I get, the more comfortable I get playing with the Rockets and get used to playing in the NBA. I think it definitely will. Once you get older, your range kind of keeps going because you get stronger. So I think just staying in the gym, doing the little things. I'm not going to go in there and start shooting 50-foot threes trying to work on it. But over time, you know, it'll take care of itself. So just getting in the gym and just working every day to become the best player that I can be.
Reed, your dad's mentioned in a few interviews that going to Kentucky, you look like you all thought going in that you'd be, you know, 3 or 4 years there. And obviously it transitioned to one and done, becoming a top pick. Was there a moment last season at Kentucky when you sort of sensed where this was going, and how different are you as a player now relative to, you know, the guy you were a year ago heading into freshman year at Kentucky?
Yeah, first Kentucky was an unbelievable year. You know, it was everything I could have asked for. I couldn't ask for anything better. Whether it was the coaches, my teammates, just everything. The university it was unbelievable. It was a great year. But yeah, I mean, going in, I wasn't expecting to be a one and done. That's not what I went in looking to do. I just went out every day and just played basketball and just tried to learn as much as I could. And that's what I'm looking forward to do this year, is just don't expect anything, just come out and learn. You have great people around you, great organization, so just coming out learning as much as you can, just being the best player in person that you can be.
How acclimated have you gotten to being in Houston, and which one of your teammates do you like hanging out the most, and why is it Tari Eason?
Say what?
Which one of your teammates do you like hanging out with the most, and why is it Tari Eason?
No, I mean, they're all great. They've all been great. You know, Tari, they're all great people. Tari's a great dude. He's always going to be in a good mood, cracking jokes. So it's fun. The team is really fun. They got some young guys, a lot of young guys. So we all kind of enjoy kind of the same stuff, and so it's really cool being able to see them every day in the gym and just continuing to grow that relationship over the year.
Last one for me here. This kind of team, this group with Fred, Amen, all the playmakers, do you think it's conducive to you having a strong year, especially from behind the arc?
You know, I'm excited. You know, Fred is a phenomenal player, phenomenal point guard. Watching him when I was younger, and then now being able to play with him is really cool for me. So you know, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win, whatever I need to do to help the team, whether it's make threes or sit over there and clap and get water. I don't care. Whatever makes the team the best version of the team is what I'm looking to do.
Last question, Jackson.
Reed, Fred was asked earlier about kind of the ability to mentor you, the similarities between your two games. I know you've been asked a few different times now about the ability to play, alongside him, and that there are similarities between both of you. Kind of what's the early stages of that relationship like? Just the practices that you guys have had, the times that you guys have been able to share the floor together, and how do you envision it kind of going forward?
Yeah, anytime we're on the floor together, he talks to me the whole time, whether it's to talk more, communicate, or teaching me little things that he does really good. So I think that's what it's going to be all year. I think we'll have a really good relationship, and I think he's going to be someone that I can trust to tell me the right thing and not just what I want to hear, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think he's gonna say that, and I'm gonna be comfortable learning that from him because he's won championships. He's been in the NBA a long time. He obviously knows what he's doing and knows how to stay around, and he's a winner. So I'm really excited for that relationship.
Thank you, Reed.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
They letting you play country music in the locker room?
Programming day?